welcome to Asset Television News. I am Emanuela Akwaya, and here are the headlines. Opposition parties say no to new Electoral Act. Federal government signs landmark mineral deal amid tension in Middle East. Nigerian Civil Defense Corps celebrates World Environment Day. Several opposition political parties in Nigeria have rejected the newly enacted 2026 Electoral Act, recently passed by the National Assembly and assented to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They call for an urgent amendment of what they described as anti-democratic provisions embedded in the law.
The event, which brought together prominent political actors including former Senate President David Mark, former Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, all associated with the African Democratic Congress (ADC. Also present were the national chairman of the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP), Ahmed Ajuji, and other senior party figures, including Buba Galadima. Controversial provisions of the 2026 Electoral Act. One of the most contentious provisions is the amendment of Section 60, subsection 3, which allows electoral officers to revert to manual transmission of results where technological challenges occur. Opposition leaders argue that this clause weakens the mandatory electronic transmission of results and could create loopholes for manipulations. They insist that Nigeria's electoral technology infrastructure has improved significantly in recent years, and that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has previously affirmed its capacity to conduct electronic result transmission nationwide. Critics fear that permitting manual feedback options may reopen avenues for electoral malpractice, practically in remote or politically sensitive areas. Another controversial amendment concerns Section 84, which limits political parties to either direct primaries or consensus arrangements for selecting candidates, effectively excluding indirect primaries. Opposition parties argue that this constitutes undue interference in the internal affairs of political parties. They maintain that indirect primaries mean a legitimate democratic method and provide flexibility for large parties for complex structures. Opposition leaders referenced alleged irregularities in the recent area councils elections in the FCT, describing them as deeply flawed. They argue that such experiences heighten concerns about the readiness of Nigeria's electoral system to conduct credible elections in 2027 under the new legal framework. They warn that unless the 2026 Electoral Act is comprehensively reviewed, public confidence in Nigeria's democracy may continue to decline.
Nigeria moved to reposition its economy at the weekend with the signing of a landmark $1.3 billion alumina refinery agreement, even as escalating tensions in the Middle East threaten to send global oil prices soaring above $100 per barrel.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development Dele Alake described the agreement as a landmark deal that would transform the mining sector, deepen local value addition, and significantly increase its contributions to gross domestic product. The refinery is designed to process optimally approximately 1 million tons of barite annually using a modern bioprocess flow sheet supported by an on-site gas-flared cogeneration plant for steam and electricity. It is projected to operate for about 20 years at 95% utilization, producing an estimated 19 million tons of alumina over its lifespan. Economic projections indicate that annual GDP contribution of $1.2 billion over $25 billion in total economic value across the project lifespan, and about $8 billion in foreign exchange earnings. Executive Secretary of the Solid Minerals Development Fund, Hajia Fatima Shinkafi, described the transaction as the largest in the fund's history, noting that the $1.3 billion capital expenditure signals renewed investor confidence in Nigeria's mining reforms. Beyond the refinery, the partners will embark on a comprehensive geoscience mapping exercise to generate credible data on Nigeria's mineral deposits, long seen as a major constraint to large-scale investments. A joint strategic investment vehicle will also be created to accelerate exploration and development once mapping and feasibility studies are completed. The signing ceremony was witnessed by AFC President and CEO Samaila Zubeiru alongside senior government officials, reinforcing the administration's push to diversify the economy away from crude oil and tap into deposits of barite, lithium, gold, iron ore, and rare earth minerals. However, while Nigeria seeks to reduce dependency on oil revenues, developments in the Middle East could once again underscore the economy's vulnerability to global economic shocks. Minister of Solid Minerals Development.
Tension flared at the Senate on Thursday as lawmakers expressed outrage over the failure of the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission to honor repeated invitations from the National Assembly. This was during the Senate Committee on Finance 2026 Budget Defense Session, an interactive meeting on the economy. Senator Orji Uzor moved a motion calling for the immediate sack of the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussain Ishaq Magaji, over what he described as persistent disregard and disrespect for the Senate.
And given the fact that he has not accounted for revenue accrues to him and the expenditure he has secured, this Senate should decline to appropriate anything in 2026 budget until we are satisfied that he has properly accounted for previous money and spent, and the Senate is satisfied that he deserves to have any further appropriation. And should this spend money that is not appropriated, he should be headed to Kuje prison.
The motion was seconded by Senator Adams Oshimole, who supported calls for decisive action. Senator Kalu urged that the matter be escalated to President Bola Tinubu, seeking the urgent termination of the CAC bosses' appointments.
The Assembly has constitutional role, and this constitutional role is that we are to oversight MDAs. Any MDA that we invite, almost every time they will tell us they are in the villa. They are in the villa, taking excuses with the villa. And even Mr. President does not guarantee any head of MDA not responding to National Assembly. Now that a motion has been moved as chairman, somebody has to second, and then you before amendment. That's the rule. Which Senator Adams Oshomole has made a motion. Is there any seconder? Any seconder? There is no seconder, so the motion is dead.
In the Senate, and we cannot take it any longer. I want you to summon a warrant to bring him here. And we will report him to Mr. President to either remove him, replace him, or he start obeying the Senate. Move the motion, let me second. This man is not coming to the Senate. He's not above the law. This Minister of Finance and Minister of Budget, they are here 24 hours. We summon them, they come. And this CAC man thinks he's a king over the Senate. We are not ready to take that rubbish again. Minister of Finance, please take note. I move a motion that man should be reported to Mr. President and ask for immediate removal, because we cannot continue in this manner. We have time to do this work. We call the Finance Minister, who is the coordinating Minister of Economy, and he will leave everything he's doing to come. This year, since I came to this Senate, This man have never been here. He will continue. I'm a member of this committee, even in the 9th Senate until today. And this man will continue saying he's in the villa, he's going to London, he went to... Is that what we are doing? He should come and give us account on what he had done in the Senate. And we cannot...
He also called for the insurance of a warrant to compel the Registrar General to appear before the committee. The Onitsha North Local Government Council of Anambra on Sunday commenced the demolition of some marked illegal structures at the Onitsha main market. Recall that Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra said demolition of the illegal structures was aimed at restoring the original master plan of the market and thereby improve its economic activities. The developments followed an earlier statement issued by the council through the office of the local government chairman of Onitsha North, Anthony Wara. According to him, the council reminded owners and occupants of illegal structures located at Park 1, Park 2 and Park 3 of the main market that the grace period granted to them had expired. He explained that the main market located in Onitsha, one of the largest commercial cities in southeastern Nigeria, had over the years faced challenges related to congestion and unapproved structures. However, what sounds as a relief to the traders was a court injunction that restrained Soludo from demolishing the market, a ruling that brought relief and jubilation to traders. Asante will be back after the short break. Stay tuned.
Mom, 20,000 naira for that video game I told you about.
20,000?
Yeah.
Did your dad just give you money?
Yeah, but I need more for this new release.
My hands are busy. Go ahead, send it yourself. 20,000, okay?
Facial verification. What the?
Forgot to mention, your dad taught me how to set it up in order to avoid sending large sum of money accidentally.
Come on.
You think you can assault me the way your sister did with your dad? You are lucky I'm always sending it. This boy.
With OPay's large transaction shield, your face is the only access. OPay, beyond banking.
Welcome back from the break. Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), Professor Ahmed Audi, last Friday in Abuja, enumerated achievements of the corps under his watch in the last 5 years, to include enormous strength in anti-vandals operations and sealing of illegal security outfits across the country. He made this known during the celebration of World Civil Defense Day. Our correspondent was there and files in this report.
This year's World Civil Defense Day coincided with the terminal date of the Commandant General of the Corps, Professor Ahmed Abubakar Audi, who has put in 5 years in the saddle. The theme for this year's celebration is managing environmental risks for a sustainable future. He said the Corps has been in the forefront of managing crises in Nigeria under his watch. He enumerated some of his achievements to include creation of a female squad-capable terrorists in any part of the country. NCDC, he said, is involved in all theaters of engagement along with the military. Professor Audi also disclosed that the Corps destroyed over 260,000 illegal refineries in the southern part of Nigeria. He went further to hint that the Corps has established anti-bunkering squad and no fewer than 5,000 persons have been arrested, some convicted. 186 cattle rustlers were arrested within his period of service as Commandant General of the Corps, further advising the Corps must always maintain synergy with other security agencies. This year,
Professor Audi's tenure has been extended by President Tinubu for another 5 years. Pope Leo XIV on Sunday appealed to nations involved in the escalating Middle East conflict to recognize their moral responsibility to pursue peace. following airstrikes reportedly carried out by the United States and Israel on Iran. According to Vertical News, the Pope made the call during his Angelus address on Sunday, where he expressed deep concern over recent developments in the region, particularly in Iran. The pontiff warned that an uncontrolled escalation of violence could result in catastrophic consequences. Pope Leo XIV also prayed that diplomacy would regain prominence in resolving the crisis. On Saturday, Israel and the United States reportedly began joint airstrikes on Tehran and other Iranian cities, prompting retaliatory attacks by Iran targeting Israel and several Gulf countries hosting American military bases. In a dramatic development, Iranian state-run news agencies later announced the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who had ruled the country for nearly 37 years. The presidency on Sunday has firmly denied various social media claims, alleging that a member of the kitchen staff at the Aso Rock presidential villa was arrested for attempting to poison President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The allegations contained in a widely circulated video claimed that a presidential chef had been taken into custody following intelligence reports of suspicious activities linked to food preparation within restricted areas of the villa. The video further alleged that a special police squad was deployed and that security had been heightened around the presidential complex in response to a credible threat. According to the narration in the footage, authorities had discreetly launched a coordinated investigation to neutralize potential risk and prevent public panic. It also claimed that the unnamed kitchen staff member was arrested for questioning, while investigators examined evidence related to the alleged poisoning attempt. However, the presidency categorically dismissed the claims as fabricated. Nigerian Super Eagles' upcoming friendlies against Jordan and Iran, slated for Amman this month, may be called off due to the joint military action by the USA and Israel against Iran. The Super Eagles are scheduled to face Jordan and Iran at the Four-Nation Invitation Tournament. On Eric Chele's side, they will be ready to battle with Iran in their first game on Friday, 31st March. The three-time African champions will clash with Jordan 4 days later. Safety of the teams and also the presence of Iran at this invitational tournament have been called to question. And that's the size of our bulletin at this hour. Do follow us on all our social media handles. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Emanuela Akwaya.